everybody, welcome. Ooh. Hi everybody, welcome to Scrapcraft and Stitchery. I am continuing to work on this small Maximal Mini Journal today. And I have most of the pages made and I just need one more page. And I think I've shown you this, but I have 5 signatures made and I just need one more. I'm one short because I've been kind of playing around. Oh, I have extras. I really don't need to do this. Okay. Hi everybody, welcome to Scrapcraft and Stitchery. This is Christina. I am continuing today to work on my Maximal Mini Journal, and I have most of the pages for this made, and these are used, I made these using the rolling pages technique that Biddy Penny put out recently, and I saw it and I just thought it was perfect for this because they're so rich and so neat. And so I made, as I showed you previously, 120 to fill this tiny journal completely. I made 120 inches of these rolling pages, which is really cool. And I just need really one more page for this. And so I'm going to show you how I made these signatures, or the pages that make up my signatures for this. And so what I did was I need 8 inches folded in half will give me the right size for my book, because that'll give me a 4-inch page. And my rolling pages turned out to be around 11 inches tall. Some of them are like, it kind of varies. It's like between 11 inches to 11 and a half inches. And if I fold that in half, I can get 2 sheets to use as pages. And so I am tearing these, which is a little bit tricky, but it can be done. And one of the things that's a little bit tricky here is keeping this straight, because I can see right now that this is not straight and it's not going to make straight pages. Where is my ruler? Maybe I'll use this. This might help me out. So I want to get a nice straight edge, so I'm lining it up. Move this up a little bit maybe. I have about 30, a little over 30, 35 inches or so left. And I am going to tear off the very end because, as you can see, this is kind of going like this. It's not completely straight. So I'm lining up the bottom along here because I kind of tried to keep that a little bit straight, but it's not a perfect science as it turns out. To keep these things tearing evenly after I've been tearing off page after page. But if you're careful, you can get this to get relatively straight edges, which I found to be just making my life a little bit easier. Ooh, that is very frail. Okay, and that's part of the problem, is that these pages are all, you have these like thicker parts where you have layers and then you have just a single page, and it gets a little tricky. It gets a little tricky. Look at this beautiful like scrap that I have now. Super excited about these scraps, as one gets. I don't know, I get that way. I'm like, oh boy, bits. I need to make a habit of using up all my bits. So I'm going to move a little bit farther over than I usually am, but I think it's okay because I've moved my camera angle way out. So if you look at that, I'm going to hold this down. So this is 8 inches. That'll give me an 8-inch page, and I'll actually make 2 pages here. And I'm just trying to get this torn off of there, going slowly so that everything aligns. So now I should have straight 8 inches here. So that's what I did, and I wound up doing 5 pages for each signature times 5, so I needed 25, and but I only needed half of that because I get 2 pages by folding this in half. And I liked doing this where I fold it in half to find the middle because these are all a little bit, and this is just a really frail page and it does not want to fold at all, which is a little bit problematic, but can be fixed. So that's basically torn there, as you can see. And then we'll tear it along where I've done that. So some of my pages are older and they don't bend very well, I guess, very good. English is. So now I'm just looking to see, I do like this, where that's going to fold in half. But I kind of like this one better, except for this page is going to be just kind of a plain page. And you know what? That's okay. Let's see. I'm going to have to fold that. Let's see how that goes. I'm a little bit nervous, but I can show you how we can reinforce these things. I know that one of my pages is definitely going to need some reinforcement because I'll show you in a second. Some of these might need some reinforcement. Okay, so this is going to make a fairly non-interesting page here because we just have this page of sideways text, but that's okay. We can fix that later and cover it all up if we want to. And these are going to be pages, and I am going to decorate them. I think if I just glue this down good, that is going to take care of this issue here. Okay. I realize that I have been talking about the pages for these signatures for this book for several videos now. And I'm kind of hoping this will be the last part of this. So I'm going to put this aside as just part of so this is a beautiful page, and it's going to just be kind of an extra. I'm going to have a few little extra bits and bobs. These are just, this page tore, and so I wound up not using it. This is just an extra, which I realize now that I have, and I could have used this, but I will set that aside for another project or to replace some of these other pages. See, I've glued this down, and now it's like cracked apart. This page is going to be okay because there's layers of where I'm going to bind this in, so I'm not going to need to do anything with that, I don't think. But let's look and see how the rest of these look in the signatures. So these are the signatures for my book, and I want to make sure they all have 5 because I think one of them does not. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the one. This is going to be, and I can change these out because this is going to be a couple of those in this one signature that just have. But when they come together too, I think it'll be okay because, well, I'm being really nitpicky now and looking at this like, where do I want these things to go? Just so that there's not like a lot of sideways text on these, and I might have to kind of change that one. The other thing I'm looking for is just to make sure where these are going to be sewn that there's not really fragile pages there. That one's a little tall. It's okay. It's okay. I think we'll check and make sure that everything's going to fit in here. But these are all different kind of heights, and I think that's just kind of part of the way that this is going to go. So let's first make sure we're looking here. And this looks like I've already come in and reinforced perhaps here, or maybe that's just where that fell. And I just put a piece of scrap paper in there to reinforce, or like I said, I think not. So here, this I think is going to really need to be reinforced. And so you have options for how to do that. And one of the ways you could do that is to just get a scrap of coffee dyed paper. I have lots of strips in my bag of coffee dyed paper, or just take another piece of book page and put over this. And I want something a little bit thicker because I want something a little bit more. And the other thing you can do that Bitty Poo showed, let me look and see. So what I'm saying is you can make a strip out of, like, this is just a piece of hand dyed paper, and I could glue that right down onto there and all the way down, and that would make a fine piece that would hold this all together when I sew it into the signature. See, that's not going to work. It's going to need to be repaired because that's right on there and it's cracking apart. So there's this other way to make a repair, and you can make some antiqued tape to repair this. I'm just going to put this down on this deli paper, and I'm going to hope that it's going to come back up when I'm done. I guess I want kind of a long piece because I definitely want something that's going to fit on there, at least mostly. So I'm going to put that down, and then this is just an alcohol marker. And so the thing with that is it should go onto this relatively, and if you get a brown one, it should, ooh, it's very wet. Let's put that so it's not on top of that other surface. I'm just going to color this in. This is kind of an orangey brown. Maybe it'll look vintage. Kind of want to let that dry a little bit. I didn't use this one because it has like hair on it. Blow on it, let it dry, and then we can peel this back up. And when we put it back down, it'll look like it has been aged. I missed a spot right on the edge of that. And I'm not touching that one because it's so wet. So, get all the way to the edge. I'll use the brush set. Okay. So we have this piece, and it has some kind of interesting colors on it. This could be fun. You could play with this idea of just making your own tapes. And now if I put that down right there, and the benefit of using this over using like the tea-dyed paper is this is actually transparent still, so you can see the writing underneath and you don't lose that piece of interest. Now it's kind of buckling and doing weird things. I might go back and do both sides of that. So let's do this side too, just right there, and I'm going to make a new piece because I don't like what I've done with that. And I think this adds just a little bit more interest to this piece rather than detracting from it. So I don't want to necessarily cover up what I already have. And I'm going to let that still show through. And it looks like it's just an old book that like we've now had to make a repair to, which is exactly what it is. Kind of loving this. This is great. Very, very interesting. It's still a little bit wet. I'm just going to kind of, it's a little bit shiny, but looks good. You can get, I mean, now you can get these alcohol inks at like, I've seen them at $5 Below in places for really relatively inexpensive. I think these are kind of more expensive ones from the art store. They were a gift. Pretty sure that's where they came from. So there we go. I am going to use my bone folder to push that down because that is now very, very reinforced. It has a lot of layers to it now. All right, so this is one way you can make a repair, is just using a piece, another piece of book page would work as well, and still continue to be interesting. I just used a piece of deli paper. I don't know if I said that. That's deli paper, so it's a little waxy to keep things from sitting on there. I think that might be the only one that I really have to worry about. I did use these dictionary pages. Some of these pages are just really fragile and delicate, and a lot of them are, that one's already reinforced because this is too a little bit brittle, but I think it has enough to hold it together because it's on that other book page already. And so I just want to flip through here and make sure. I think I know which ones are going to be problematic for me and which ones are going to be fine. I think we already did this one. Maybe, maybe not. Let's just keep going, looking through. This one I already reinforced because you see this dictionary page and I just put a piece of avocado dyed paper down there. I think it looks great. It was really only a problem on that side where it was coming apart. That one, this one, I'm a little bit concerned about, so we might come back and fix that one. But I want to make sure that everything else, that seems like it's holding up fine. We might be in trouble, but let's see. Let's do just one side of this. Which side? I really love this U. And I feel like this is the side to do too. So let's use that same tape technique and just reinforce this because this is just one where this is folded of this really fragile dictionary. So we will get a piece of tape that's going to fit across there. Just color it in. I wonder what would happen if you used black. Do you want to try it? We already have black going on. Where did I put that? I can't see it now. And it's the transparent part of transparent tape. Hopefully that squeaking doesn't sound too terrible. I guess I can edit it if I remember. Should write that down. Fix the squeaky tape. Just let that dry briefly. This alcohol tape really kind of helps to not. There's a little streaky on this one, which I am going to say I kind of like. I just like everything that gives a little bit more texture, a little bit more whatever. Okay. Don't really like that it's shiny. Does anybody have an idea for how to make it like less shiny? Okay, so that's repaired. That is, I wonder if we could, I suppose, I don't know why not. I'm gonna glue that down because that very edge where that happens to be did not glue down as well as I would like. I kind of like that to glue down just a little bit. So I did try stitching around these pages, and I did have a little bit of problem with some of these more frail things, and the thread tearing through some of these. And so I think I'm going to skip doing edging these and just sewing around the edges of these for now. Also, because this is such a small journal to begin with, and these are kind of limited sizes, I'm going to leave these pages open so I can come back in and do more decorations. And as far as anything goes, I'm gonna, as I go along, I'll sew decorative stitches onto things that I'm like onto belly bands or something that I decide to add into here and tags rather than doing it now. So 1, 2, 3, we're missing these 2 pages. Can go back in there now. These are just so rich and they look so good. I'm just really happy with the way this is kind of coming out. And just the like feeling that these are like pages that have been assembled, like just kind of thrown together from different books. It's really fascinating to flip through these. I think it'll be really fun to come back in here and work with this book where it's already kind of got this pre-collage going on. That seemed like a lot. Is that a lot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, it's perfect. It is perfect. Okay. And so we're just looking through these, checking to make sure that we have everything kind of in a way. This one again, it's cracking. I think this is the first one we already looked at. Yeah, I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we all have five signatures with 5 pages. Everything's been reinforced and is ready to sew into our book. So let's just check one more time and make sure that nothing needs to be cut down further. I do think some of these pages are going to be just a little bit long. They could be a little bit shorter, but also we haven't sewn them in yet, so it could just be that these aren't sitting down into the book enough. I'm not really sure which it is right now. But also, I mean, we're pretty close. It's really pretty close. So we can sew these in. What I did decide is I think I'm going to do some beads on the binding. So that's kind of exciting. I got some. So let's look and see if we can fit 5 in here because we only have 1.25 inches, and I would like to keep them spaced out a little bit more than this. Problems and problems and problems. That's what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. Great. Will these go into this spine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to mark this out, and I think we can do this. I think we really can. It's going to be a little bit close and living on the edge here, but this should work. This should really work. So I'm going to mark these where I want them, is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I should have somewhere a Stabilo marker to do this, but obviously I really don't, and I'm just going to wind up using this pen and hoping that this won't get covered. So these are going to be close to the spine edge, and they're going to be close all the way around. They just are. And that's okay, I think. Yep. Okay. Oops, let's do this. I'm just marking this really good because I've had some problems recently with getting these like signatures straight. It's really kind of bumming me out. I want to make sure that I'm getting everything where I want it. And these signatures should cover this and make it so that the signatures should cover up any marks that I'm making here, so it shouldn't be something that's going to show up later and then I'm going to be unhappy about. Also, let's just make sure everything goes. Start punching holes in this, that everything's going to be nice and straight. Okay, I like that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to remark this one so that it is approximately like lining up with a 1/2 inch in. And then at 0, uh-oh. Okay. Then again at this 1/2 inch in. Then turn this again. Oops, that's the wrong one. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun. Now I feel pretty confident just eyeballing these last ones. They're very close together. I'm going to make kind of small holes. That'll be okay. Kind of small holes. In miniature, working in miniature today. This is going to be fine. This is going to work. One thing I'm worried about is being too close to this signature, and I'm too far away. It's like all the way over there. What this is telling me is that I have room for one more. I could put 6 signatures in here. How many do I have? 5. I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna add 6 signatures to this because I have this whole other space over here that I can add one more signature, and that's what I'm gonna do. I did not measure correctly. And I'm going to just make one more signature right here. So 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 6. I'm doing 6 in this tiny little spine, and they're going to be super close together. And it's going to be fine. And so I have 25 of these, and I think in 5, and I think if I just take 1 out of each of these, watch this, I'm just going to take 1 out of each of these signatures, and I'll have 4 in each then, and make one more signature, so I'm not adding more pages per se. That'll leave me with 4 in each. And I should have 1 extra. This one is not folding properly, and I think it's throwing all my stuff off. Okay. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each of my signatures. And I should have 5 here, so I can just choose the best, that we like the best. That's okay. And assemble these like so. Okay, now I have 6. Oh my. Oh my. That's great. Having 6 is fabulous. And what's that going to look like in there? It's going to be a fairly full little book. A fairly full little book. It's going to be packed. And I think we can fit them all. Shall we try it? Shall we try it? I'm super scared now. And that was all basically just because I didn't know where the edge of this signature was, where the edge of this binding was when I measured. And I think they all look pretty good. They do. I mean, okay. I'm a little worried that these aren't like super straight. But let's do this. I don't have room to put in like a eyelet. But this is like a piece of card. This is a pretty sturdy piece of card stock, and I think this is going to support all of that. I'm taking you along for the process on this. This is not, I'm doing this in real time. This is not a project that is for the faint of heart. I am figuring this out as we go along. Ladies and gentlemen, I might go get some more coffee. I might at that. This is not sticking down as well as I would like. Where is my glue? Also, I mean, this did get wet at some point because some water got spilled on it. So that is part of its problem with not sticking. But I do love this lace. This lace is really pretty. Okay. Stick those back down. I will get them adhered to this surface someday. So I'm gonna definitely add some stuff to all this blank paper here. I haven't decided what, obviously. I will probably do that next because I want to find I don't know how this thing was even like stuck down here. am staying at all because it's just kind of so many loose parts. Where it's just not stuck down. Going back in and filling it back in. Going back in. Poking two. That is where that's going to go. This is going to be kind of a bit difficult going through this lace and finding the holes again. That should be a whole fun thing for us. And that lace will be tacked down once we start this whole project. Right? For sure. I almost want to just so I'm just going back in where I've made these marks and poking a hole through all of these layers. I really kind of want to just get to decorating the cover right now and skip this part. There you go. Who wants to do the binding and poking these holes and being nervous about whether or not it's going to fit? I'm going to go get some more coffee. Have a break.